Daf Yomi, Tractate Chullin, page 11b, starting from the last line of 11a with Rav Acha Bar Yaakov Amar. It's no idea. Rav Acha Bar Yaakov Amar, Simisor Amishaleach Terachman Amar Velakach Shri Asirim Shiyu Shneim Shavim Velechush, and now we are turning to 11b. Velechush Dil Machad Bin Ayut Reifahu. Rav Acha Bar Yaakov said the fact that one follows a non-quantifiable majority is derived from the halacha of the scapegoat, with regard to which the merciful one states, "And he shall take the two goats, one lot for the Lord and one lot for Azazel," Leviticus 16:7 and 8. From the fact that the verse mentions the two goats together, the sages inferred that the two goats should be equal. But how can it be ascertained that they are equal? Let us be concerned, now we turn to 11b, that perhaps one of the animals, a scapegoat, is a treifa, since it is not slaughtered, but is rather cast from a cliff while alive. There is no way to ascertain that it is not a treifa. Rather, is the reason we are not concerned for this not to the fact that we say follow the majority of animals which are not treifot? Makes sense. לא היה מגיע למחציס ההור עד שנעשה איבורים. And if you would seek to reject that proof and say that there is no need for an examination, as what practical difference is there to us whether it is a treifa, since it is neither eaten nor sacrificed, and the two goats are fit after the fact, even if they are not equal. See Yoma 62a. Doesn't the lot determine the goat for Azazel only with regard to an item, a goat, that is fit to sacrifice to the Lord? And if you would say that we examine the goat after it is cast from the cliff and do not rely on a majority, but didn't we learn in a Mishnah, Yoma 67a, the goat did not reach halfway down the mountain until it was torn limb from limb. Poor little Billy goat. Rav Mari Amar, Asya Mimaka Vivimo, Diamar Kamana Katle, Lenegosh Diamala Vivu, Allah Bishum, Diamridan, Silbasuba, Viroembi, Loisaka Habal. Rav Mari said, the fact that one follows a non-quantifiable majority is derived from the halacha of one who strikes his father or his mother, with regard to whom the merciful one states, kill him. See Exodus 21 verse 15. Rav Mari clarifies, but let us be concerned that perhaps the man that he struck is not actually his father. Rather, is the reason we are not concerned with this is not due to the fact that we say follow the majority, and the majority of acts of intercourse performed by a married woman are attributable to the husband. Mimai dilma kagon shehayu aviv vimo chavushim bebeit asurin afilu hachi ein apitrapus le'arayos. The Gemara asks, from where is that conclusion drawn? Perhaps the reference is to a case where, at the time he was conceived, his mother and father were incarcerated together in prison. Therefore, the fact that it was his father that he struck is based on certainty, not a majority. The Gemara answers, even so, there is no steward for restraining sexual immorality, and the identity of his father is not based on certainty. Rav Kahana Amar, Asya Mihoy Regas Hanefesh, Dilma Rachmana Kar Levelekush, Dilma Trevai Ave, Ela Vishum Diamrina Zilva Saruga. Rav Kahana said is derived from the halacha of one who kills another person, with regard to whom the merciful one states, kill him. See Exodus 21:12. Rav Kahana clarifies, and let us be concerned that perhaps the person that he killed was a treifa, one who has a wound or condition that will lead to his death within 12 months. One who kills a treifa is exempt from the capital punishment because, in that sense, the halachic status of a treifa is that of a dead person. Rather, is the reason we are not concerned for this not due to the fact that we say follow the majority of people who are not treifot? And if you would seek to reject that proof and say that we examined the corpse to determine whether he was a treifa, wouldn't the corpse be mutilated through that examination? And if you would say that due to concern for the possibility of an unjustified loss of life of that murderer, we will mutilate the corpse to determine whether the victim was a treifa, it would remain necessary to rely on the majority I don't know why it makes a difference to the person. Okay. And if you would say that due to concern for the possibility of unjustified loss of life, that murderer, we will mutilate the corpse to determine whether the victim was a treifa, it would remain necessary to rely on the majority as lest us be concerned that perhaps there was a perforation in the place that he stabbed the victim with his sword. Ravina Amal. Asim Eidim Zoimimin. Diom Rachmana Vasisum Loikasha Zomam Belechush Dilma Hach de Asid Hidu Be Trefahava. Erlav Shmishum Damrina Zil Basarubam. Ravina said it is derived from the halacha of conspiring witnesses, with regard to whom the merciful one stays, and you shall do unto him as he had conspired to do unto his brother. Deuteronomy 19:19. If the witnesses testified falsely that a person is guilty of a capital offense, they are liable to receive the death penalty. And let us be concerned that perhaps the person against whom they testify was a treifa, and they should not be executed for conspiring to have a treifa executed. I don't know why. I don't know what that's about. Anyway, rather is the reason we are not concerned for this, not due to the fact that we say follow the majority of people who are not a treifot. Berebi Omar Berebi, a distinguished sage. Berebi Omer lo haragu neheragim haragu neheragim. If you would say in rejection to that proof that we examine the course of the executed defendant to determine whether he was a treifa, but isn't it taught in a bright? A distinguished sage, Berebi, says with regard to witnesses who conspired to have a person killed based on their testimony, if the conspiring witnesses have not yet killed the accused with their testimony, they are executed. But if they kill the accused with their testimony, they are not executed. Ravashi Amar Asim Shchita Atzma Yamar Rachmana Shchot Vechol Belechu Shem Mikom Nekev Ka Shachit Elalav Mishum Damrinan Zil Basaruba. Ravashi said the principle of following a non-quantifiable majority is derived from the halacha of slaughter itself, with regard to which the merciful one states, slaughter the animal and eat it, and let us be concerned that perhaps he is slaughtering the animal in the place of a pre-existing perforation. Rather, is the reason we are not concerned for this not due to the fact that we say follow the majority of animals that are not treifot, They're not straightforward. Amar Rav Ashi Amri Tzalishmai Tekami Rav Kahana Be'amri La Rav Kahana Kami Rav Shimi V'yamar Le V'yamar Echad Efshar Efshar Echad La Efshar La Efshar. Rav Ashi said, I stated this halacha before Rav Kahana, and some say that Rav Kahana stated this halacha before Rav Shimi, and the sage before whom the halacha was stated said to the one who stated it, and perhaps where it is possible to examine the situation, it is possible, and the majority is not followed, but where it is not possible to examine the situation, it is not possible, and the majority is followed. And it, as if you do not say so, and then according to Rabbi Meir, who despite the existence of a majority takes the minority into consideration and does not follow the majority, is indeed true that one does not eat meat due to the concern that there was a perforation in the place that he slaughtered the animal. And if you would say indeed, according to Rabbi Meir, it is prohibited to eat meat, to be continued, and next daf.